welcome to another episode of Walking Digital Corridors. Firstly, let me say apologies for the slight hiccup yesterday. We had a technical glitch, some issue that I think I caused actually with Restream, but I learned a valuable lesson today. I'm pretty sure I won't be doing that again. So a quick recap on what we discussed last week. 2 weeks ago, because Jordan and I were on holiday last week. We took a look at a post that a guy called Chris Walker had done. For those that don't know Chris Walker, he's very active on LinkedIn. He does a lot of great analysis about B2B sales and marketing. And I particularly liked the piece of research that he'd done around demand generation and asking questions like, is the traditional sales and marketing funnel dead? And the fact that MQLs apparently convert at a rate of just 0.1%. And it was lovely to see, because both Jordan and I have been talking about this for at least 2 years. I've been feeling it as a sales leader for many more years, and realized that the traditional kind of insight-led sales and marketing approach was becoming more and more obsolete. Anyway, in that conversation, we had a wonderful question from the audience, but I'm not going to steal Jordan's thunder. I'm going to hand it over to him.
Yeah, thank you very much. So it was a great conversation, and I think the sort of conclusion that we began to arrive at is that we're reaching a bit of an inception point. And then Andrew Slesser made this great comment. Costs and overheads are rising and companies' budgets are being cut to a shoestring. Is there a panic mode from leadership teams to ensure profitability and dividends are paid to shareholders rather than building the company? Essentially, they're wanting to put band-aids on an issue rather than actually getting to the root of the problem and solving it, as it seems too long and expensive. And it was that great question that's what we're going to speak about today. I've certainly got my views based off of some conversations that I've been having and what I'm seeing. But Alex, I'd love to know what you think.
Yeah, well, initially I was thinking, because this question came up just at the end and we were running out of time. And initially my thought process was, well, okay, sales and marketing have been trying a lot of stuff for many years as buyer behavior has been changing. And, we've seen lots of new different strategies arise. And there's certainly been a focus from a marketing perspective on content and insight, and on a sales perspective, how do we help our salespeople sell more? And there's this big gap in the middle where actually what we need to do is build relationships with our target audience before we're ready to sell anything to them. Just get to know them as human beings. But actually, where I think Andrew is coming from, and Andrew, if you are watching this morning, tell me if we're going down the wrong rabbit hole here. But I think businesses realise that traditional sales and marketing isn't working like it once did. So, and they don't know how to solve that problem. No matter what they do from a marketing perspective, no matter what they do from a sales perspective. Pipeline rates are still declining, pipeline quality is still declining, and close rates are now, I think, at an all-time industry low. If you believe what Winning by Design, the research they've been doing, the average close rate across SMB through to enterprise is down to 17%. And I've talked to some companies where the average close rate is even lower than that. But I think businesses have realized that, and they don't know what to do. So they're pulling all of these other levers. So, so if we can't acquire new customers, let's focus on retention and customer growth. Well, we're not growing our existing customer base as much as we would like. Let's cut costs. it's getting, we're worried about the future, let's make some redundancies. And, it's this constant, kind of downward spiral that I think we're in. And I know Andy Huff has referred to this. Andy Huff, the chairman of the Institute of Sales Professionals, has referred to this as, I think, the death spiral, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. It's a good point. I was just messaging you to go and split.
Sorry, I didn't realise I was still on you.
No worries. You got so into that talk track that you completely forgot. Yeah, no, it's a really good point. My thinking on this point is sort of split, and I'll go on to share why. But I think there's this underlying narrative within organisations that we've gone from sort of peacetime, sort of growth at all costs mode, to these wartime behaviours where, okay, we need to be a bit more lean, we need to be a bit more focused. And the worrying thing here is when all this is painted against the macroeconomic landscape that we currently find ourselves in, my worry is that it's all too easy for businesses to blame the lack of performance on that, rather than it being the machine that's actually broken, if you know what I mean. So on the one hand,
go on.
Sorry.
No, go on. I was just going to ask you to clarify and summarise.
Yeah. So look, I think, as Andrew quite pertinently put it, costs are rising, overheads are rising, businesses are entering that sort of tipping point, that convergence point, where they're thinking, maybe something isn't working, maybe something is broken within the overall system. But my worry is that, we'll come out the other side of this economic uncertainty and things will go back to normal, or the normal before. And they'll go, oh, well, it was just that period of economic uncertainty, when really, I think this needs to spark a greater change in the way that the go-to-market teams operate.
Yeah, I know we touched on this a couple of weeks ago, but having been in this industry, B2B sales and marketing, for more than 23 years now, I've been through some pretty uncertain times. The financial crisis of 2008 was one, but there's been other things in relation to the regions that I was covering. So Turkey, there was a military coup, and some of our customers were literally being missiled with tanks on the Bosphorus Bridge. The oil crisis in the Middle East, where there was a big money just wasn't being spent, and the thought of spending money on sales and marketing when the cost of oil was so volatile. I think if you're, as a sales and marketing leader, if you're not in a position where you are creating quality and strength in your pipeline to give you the confidence that if something happens that you don't know what it's going to be, affects you still have a degree of confidence in your mind that you are going to hit your target.
Yeah.
And that, I think comes down to the numbers and being crystal clear about what your value proposition is, what your average order value is for that value proposition, your ability to position differentiated value and quantify that value, and have enough pipeline to know that you're gunning towards perhaps a 150, a 200% of your team target. So if something hits you that you weren't expecting, a curveball, you're still either going to hit the target, or in this case, we're talking about companies, you're still growing at the rate that you need to grow to appease whoever it is that you need to appease, the stock market, the investors, whoever it might be. But looking back before COVID, 2018-19, companies were already in trouble when it came to pipeline and new business revenue growth. I mean, even existing customer growth. And because of that fact, COVID came, and was it a great excuse? Oh, COVID came. Wow, e-commerce has just grown tenfold, and this is going to be great. We're saved. And then there was this stark reality that hit everyone towards the end of COVID after the massive overhiring. Oh shoot, this isn't going to continue. And we've rebounded like an elastic band back to where we were pre-COVID. And now businesses and stock markets were struggling to get back to where they were pre-COVID. And the same with regards to sales and marketing. We're now in a position where, okay, those things that weren't working before COVID still aren't working, but because we're in trouble, we're going to do more of them.
Yeah.
And the number of conversations I know you and I have had in relation to just need to do more with less.
Yeah.
Coming into end of 2022, coming into 2023, sales and marketing leader, I remember this conversation as clear as day. I've told the team we need to put 30% more effort in to expect 30% less of the other side.
Yeah.
I personally think that's because sales and marketing leadership, when the going gets tough, they go back to what they know.
Yeah.
And they're doing those things that weren't working before COVID. And they're not the different things that will now get them to where they need to be in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, go on.
No, I agreed. I'm just conscious of time. We've got 3 minutes left, and it has been fairly sort of doom and gloom. I just want to, I guess, just go back to the 2008 financial crisis, and just touch on what came out of it. Tough times do breed innovation, and obviously the Challenger sale was written just following that, in which there was still a group of salespeople that were overperforming, and that's what birthed the Challenger sale. So what can businesses do at this point when things are getting tough, rather than reverting back and doing more of those things? What can businesses do? Is it, a stop, start, go exercise where they start to try and refine the processes? What do you see as that highest impact activity that businesses can do within their teams?
I want to keep it really practical for the audience, and the follow on from Challenger, in my view, is the jolt effect, and the fact that there's a ton of really valuable insight in there from Matt Dixon and Ted McKenna analyzing something like 2 million sales conversations using AI. And they've found why people within organizations are not making these decisions. That deals are being lost to indecision because people are worried about messing up, not missing out. But Matt and Ted talk about the value of personal brand and how that's going to be incredibly important. And I'm going to reference quite quickly before we run out of time, Dr. Julian Birkinshaw, who 10 years ago said that, we're starting to come out of the knowledge era. When you think about competitive advantage, differentiation for businesses, we've been in the content and insight and knowledge era for more than 10 years, and it's just creating noise. Knowledge and insight is accessible to everyone now. So we're heading into an democracy, and that's about people and human beings and shared values and beliefs, and that being the competitive advantage for businesses today. And we need to tap into that. And the first thing people can do to start tapping into that, and the practical takeaway for today, is take a look at your LinkedIn profile or any other socials that you're on that your customers are on, or your target audience. And, what's the photo like? What's the tagline like? They're the first two things that your target audience sees. And if it's not attracting them to walk towards you, and the tagline isn't quirky enough to cause someone to go, "Ooh, that's interesting. Let me take a closer look at him or her," then you're already falling at the first hurdle. So that's the takeaway today. Take a look at your photo, and if you want to look at mine and Jordan's, we've done a bit of work in this. And then I'll finish off by saying next week we're going to be talking about in-person networking. Jordan and I will be at LX Anticon live, we hope.
Yeah.
And we're going to be joined by Jordan's brother, Jensen, who's going to share his first in-person networking experience. And let me tell you, it wasn't straightforward.
Indeed. Brilliant. Well, thank you everyone for joining us, and thank you for having me again, Alex. I do have to drop as I've got another call, but yeah, thank you very much. And
cool. Take care. Yeah. Bye.